guys. Today we got myself, Manager Corona, Manager Chipotle, Yeezy, and Fandle with us. Thank you guys for coming. So, boys, today we're getting towards the end of the season. Playoffs are coming around. That championship will be here. It's closer than you know. But today we want to talk about what consists or what makes up a championship fantasy football team. What are the steps that go into it? What do you got to bring yourself, and what factors can you change in order to get you that chip? So starting it off, Manager Easy, can you just give us one point that you have for a solid championship roster?
Yeah, and I want to hit the viewers with a disclaimer. I have won 2 championships in the FLM, and I want you guys to take my advice very, very seriously because I do strongly believe that every single championship team has that workhorse running back. Someone that will get 20 carries a game, someone who will finish as a top 5 running back on any given week, someone who can drop at 20 points at least any given week. So if you could have every other position filled out to the max, but if you don't have the running backs, I really don't think you can have a championship worthy team. And this is in a season where the running back position is very weak. I do believe that CMC is someone that has an insane advantage this season, mainly because the difference between him and the running back 5 is the same as the difference between the running back 5 and the running back 53. That's actually just shows that if you have a top 5 running back this season, you are far away from the rest of the competition. So a lot of teams, when we go and look back on the stats, the percentages of rosters with winning teams, we're going to see those top 5 guys at the end of the season. Some of these 5 guys I'm thinking of could be players like potentially Christian McCaffrey. We know that Austin Eckler could get it hot. We know that there's DeAndre Swift, who's on a very hot offense. And someone I strongly believe in that I think had the chance to be top 5 since the start of the beginning. His time hasn't came yet, but someone who I'd be buying is Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard could be that top 5 guy during the rest of the season. If once the touchdowns fall his way, I think he can be that workhorse running back to buy. That's probably the lowest price out of all these guys I just mentioned.
Yeah, solid points you brought up, Manager Easy. And yeah, like you said, you got 2 chips, and both those times you had that CMC on your roster, just giving those random 30-point, 40-point, even sometimes close and getting into 50-point performances right then and there, and bringing you those chips. But workhorse running backs very, very vital. I just want to bring up that I think what constitutes a good roster is not having any holes in your roster. And I know that's, it's obvious, but it could go so unnoticed. If you do not have top through bottom guys you can count on every single week, or, guys you're not questioning, oh, like maybe he can go off, maybe he might not. You need to have that. You need to get those consistent number each and every week. Because you can't have if you have a 3 wide receiver set, or in your fantasy football league, and it's championship day, and you got freaking, I don't know, like Marquise Valdes-Scantling as your wide receiver 3, hoping that he gets a long touchdown. Nah, man, you're better than that. Get that roster filled out, and I'm talking even quarterback. I'm talking even tight end. Try to do whatever it is that you can to get that roster to max as possible. And that's one of the things I definitely noticed that helped win championships as well. Manager Promote, a little bit more on the roster spots. Can you just enlighten us with one of the points you mentioned?
Yeah, sure. And I think it kind of goes hand in hand with what you were saying too, in terms of not having any holes in your roster. And I think what really is big on that is you got to have a good flex position too. That flex position, there definitely has to be like some sort of security blanket, somebody that may not be having the value of a receiver one or like a workhorse running back, but somebody that can get you that those 10, 11 points. Those go really big in close matchups, and examples would be like like the Marquise Browns of the world. Even though he's not on the best offense nor is he the best receiver, he'll still get you some valuable points because of that volume. And if you think back even a couple years ago, I think manager Corona, you benefited from this. Leonard Fournette, he wasn't like like a C-Mac level, but he was at the end of the day he had that fringe RB1 status. So guys like that can fill out that flex spot can definitely go a long way. So I would definitely look for receiver two, fringe one running backs when you look at your flex to kind of round out your team.
Well said, Manager Chipotle. Well said. Now, Manager FanDuel, more so going into the topic of mentality heading in towards that championship. What you got to train yourself in order to bring yourself there. Can you explain a little bit upon that?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, first of all three of you guys touched on some fantastic roster points, but I think not only a champion, to make a true champion, it isn't just the physical roster part, but also the mental game. You got to have true perseverance and grit to be able to withstand the gauntlet of the entire fantasy football season, the ups and the downs. No one's ever going to be perfect. No one's ever going to be. I think it was the '72 Dolphins where they went perfect straight throughout the whole season. We even saw with the Patriots, right? They went whatever it was, 19-1 or 20-1 or something like that. So it's very rare to go perfect, but you always want to learn. If you're not going to win, then you want to learn. Don't take it as a loss, but take it as a learning lesson. Bounce back, and just continue to excel, continue to grow, and then you'll find yourself in a position that you didn't even think you can be in. So it's just about keeping a positive mindset, a positive outlook, and overall, just never getting down on yourself, because it's a long season and it's never a sprint. It's a true marathon. So just making sure to have the true overall picture in mind, and making sure to work towards that championship instead of getting caught up in the small minutiae of the week to weeks that can really, catch up a lot of managers and keep them caught up instead of worrying about the overall picture.
Yeah, very well said. Very well said. An important aspect in any football championship. But these were all some great points brought to you by former champions themselves. We thank you for listening on for this video. Please make sure to like, subscribe down below. Peace out.